Infinite Frontier, issue number 3. That's right, folks. We are diving back into the DC multiverse as it's a complicated mess that Joshua Williamson is slowly but surely trying to fix. Like, you gotta commend the guy for putting in the time and effort to make this something viable. And he's doing pretty good. I gotta say, like, this book has hit on all cylinders pretty well. So we open up this book, we see Todd and Alan are at it again. They're just walking through the city streets, looking at all their former enemies and trying to figure out where Jade is. We see this through a conversation that Todd is having with I think it's his boyfriend at this point. His name is Damon. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I'd love to go on a double date with you and your dad. Like, I got a guy he might be interested in. He's like, well, I haven't talked to my dad about it yet, but we're slowly getting there. We see that they go to talk to Shade, who I believe will be appearing in Stargirl Season 2 as one of the villains because he was in, like, that, like, the portrait, but he's, like, secretly hidden. So Shade's like, yeah, man, I don't know any of our guys that are out there actively doing stuff like this, but, you know, it could be some of the enemies of, like, the legacy JSAs. And he's like, what are you talking about? And Todd goes, oh, Dad, it could probably be one of our villains from Infinity Inc. And I'm like, who? Where are we going with this? Okay. So again, this book is very good of transitions, so as it fades to black, we open up with the Black Lantern, Roy Harper, flying through space as a zombie. He suddenly snaps himself back when he thinks of his daughter Leanne, because Leanne is coming back. Very exciting to see that. He's just randomly in space, not knowing where to go, and he's like, okay, if I use the ring again, I could turn into a zombie, which I don't want to happen. But I also don't know how to make a construct without turning into a zombie, so I'm just going to sit here until, like, a superhero finds me, because they're always flying through space, so I'll wait for someone to come find me and they can pick me up, which somebody does. And we fade to white, and then we open up on Earth 22, where Magog is attacking President Superman and the Flashpoint Batman. Now, this book is so good at transitions. I love it. Like, this is really cool. It's very cinematic, the way it's, like, slowly fading to white, open up on the white world, and we just see all these colors, and basically Magog's like, you guys just showed up here out of nowhere, and it's really annoying. He's ready to kill Flashpoint Batman. He's like, you got the stink of multiverse manipulation all over you. We're gonna kill you, but the Justice Incarnate shows up to knock him out, and basically we see that President Superman just goes, okay, enough of this. Look, Magog, this is your world. We're not here to change it. We just want to see the energy signature that's coming from this wrecked ship, and we'll get that, and then we'll leave. Magog kind of agrees. He's like, okay, sure. Just take this piece of crap with you, and tosses Thomas over to them. And then they're just looking at the ship like, something about the signature is weird. And we see Thomas is like, you know, the Barry Allen I knew, like, said he could, like, feel vibrations to sense what this world was, what world he was in. Maybe we could, like, do that with the ship. So some of the guys were like, I mean, we could try. And they start feeling it. But as President Superman, he feels, and he's like, I do feel something on this. It feels like it's from my own home. So maybe I should go back there and we'll continue the conversation elsewhere. So we establish a couple things here. Magog and the Kingdom Come world are back in the multiverse. Thomas Wayne is infected with some, like, reality manipulation thing that's being able to be sensed by some beings in the multiverse. And there's some weird ship that's coming from President Superman's Earth. So, okay. We cut back to an old-looking comic book where Barry Allen is running with Jay Garrick, and Jay's like, you have to go faster, Barry. They all need you. Faster than ever before. And he snaps back on Earth Omega, where he's on, like, a big cosmic treadmill-looking thing by the Psycho Pirate. And he's just kind of torturing him. But Barry's still trying to, like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta find a way to go faster than before. And he's starting to kind of, like, glitch out as he sees, like, this figure running ahead of him. It's like, please, we need your help, Barry, please. And he's like, who is that? Who is that person ahead of me? And it's kind of glitching out. We don't get a face of who this character is. And I'm trying to wonder who is, like, an old speedster that isn't currently in continuity. Where's Max Mercury right now? Is he in continuity? Is Johnny Quick in continuity? Who's one that isn't? I don't know, but I'm like, it's gotta be, like, somebody. So Barry kind of, like, blasts through there. We see that this is what Psycho Pirate wanted. He wants Barry to run faster than ever to save the multiverse. And then we cut to some place in Bloodhaven where we see Alan and Todd are headed through this, like, old bunker called Command D. They're, like, inside this. It's like an old base from some of the villains we used to know, so we can go inside and figure it out. They sneak past these guards. They're like, this is a very heavily operated base. And we kind of, like, get them just having a good conversation. You know, father-son, a thing they haven't really had for a while. And this is where Todd's like, you know, I mean, my Damon has got a guy that like you might be interested in. He's like, I don't know, son. Like there was a guy, back before reality all changed, and I don't know if he waited for me. And who is this guy? I don't remember if we know or not. I don't know. Who could it be? Do you guys remember? Are we talking about like Earth 2 from the New 52? Like that's the guy waiting for him? I'm not too sure. But as they're sneaking into this base, they see Director Bones, and they're following him inside. They see this like giant ship being built, and they're like, what is that? Why is there like carrier arcs like for vibrating people? And it's like, are these prison cells? What are they doing here? They're attacked by a woman whose name I forget looking at this book, and the book doesn't specify, but she looks like she's from the 90s, and it's terrible looking. And a bunch of these guards show up to stop them, and then we see that Agent Chase shows up just like, yo, please stop this. Like, I know where Jade is. Like, there's a plan in place here to stop everything bad from happening. You just gotta trust Bones on this one. And it's like, yeah, let's trust the Skeleton Man, who clearly is in the wrong most of the time with the answers for what's going on here. So Chase is alive, unless this is a different multiversal Chase, because Chase was supposedly killed in the last issue when she saw Captain Atom. Maybe this is a different Chase. Who knows? But we see that Chase kind of like blasts Obsidian and Green Lantern with like this gun, and potentially that's going to take them somewhere different. And we see that the ship that they are creating looks very similar to the one that Roy Harper gets on, which is being run by the DEO by Hector Hammond of all people, who's looking very normal these days, like a very normal guy. And basically their priorities shifted from when like the last event happened. They used to like track down Leviathan, but now with the whole multiverse thing, the DEO is kind of like finding different kind of invaders, like a big otherworldly being that could come to destroy everything. Roy's like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing here. And then Hector, of course being a Green Lantern villain, uses something like a sonar weapon that affects the lantern ring on Roy and kind of knocks him down for a bit. But as they're doing that, their ship like gravitationally shakes in something, and they end up in a place that he calls the Bleed. It is the space between worlds in the multiverse. And basically, this is kind of like, it's setting up a lot of interesting stuff here that I don't really know if this is what's being set up, but it kind of feels like the Bleed is going to be like our negative zone feeling thing, where we're going to put people here who are like affected by this multiversal energy who don't really have a place to be. So Hector has Roy kind of defeated there. He's like, oh, don't worry. You're going to love it here so much. It's something like there's like a crash on their ship. They're trying to figure out, what is that? Something hit us. What could that be? We're in the Bleed. Who can come here and defeat us? And we see that Roy kind of snaps his head back together, and he's able to take out some of these guys. He creates a construct of Hal Jordan to beat them up. Surprisingly, we haven't seen Hal Jordan in this book yet, which is very fascinating to think, because we've seen Alan Scott, Roy's the new Black Lantern. Where's Hal Jordan? Because he wasn't on the Totality, and he's not really on the Justice League. So I don't know where he is in this story, but it's very interesting. So we defeat these DEO guys, and Hector kind of gets beat up, because who comes to help out Roy Harper? None other than some of the forgotten characters of DC's past, Infinity Incorporated. We see people like Jade is here, Atom Smasher is here, Power Girl is back. Finally, they found a place to put her in continuity. People love Power Girl. She's kind of fun. Is that the Yolanda version of Wildcat? I think she's also, makes sense because, Stargirl has her as the character, and I can't pinpoint the last guy there, but Infinity Incorporated, a lot of those characters are back, which makes sense to me because these characters hold a special place in a lot of people's hearts, and it's fun to see them return. And that is where this book ends. And I'm actually surprised at how streamlined this book was compared to the other ones. We're not jumping around to a bunch of different stories. We're setting up that Director Bones and Agent Chase are like doing something, probably connecting to the Bleed. I think they're going to be putting people inside the Bleed to kind of like trap them there. I don't really know where the like Justice Incarnate storyline is going yet. It could go to a bunch of places, and I'm curious to see where we keep Thomas Wayne at when this is all done. But I'm really enjoying this book. I think it's doing a fantastic job of just establishing, yeah, the DC universe is a mess. We're trying to clean it up. We're going to do our best. It's going to be a hard job, but we're putting in the time and effort to make it something valuable, and it's doing pretty good at that. I gotta say, I've been very impressed with what this book has been doing, with what this book has been presenting to itself, and I'm enjoying it a lot. So I think my biggest fault of this book is it's doing too much, which sometimes it kind of gets bogged down by its own creation. But when you're dealing with the multiverse, when especially in DC, you gotta go big, because every time you do the multiverse in DC, it's big. So if it's like all connected and we have people all over these worlds and all over these places doing random things, it makes sense to me that you'd make it this big. And sometimes it kind of gets crushed by itself, but I'm liking it a lot, and I think it's doing a great job handling itself. And this is the year of Joshua Williamson. He's really just coming in and doing a lot of fun books, and this is no exception. I really like it a lot. This is really fun stuff, and Infinite Frontier has become a must-read book, in my opinion. Just like if you want to see what's new with the DC Universe, you should check this out, because it's doing a bunch of stuff that's very enjoyable. So, Infinite Frontier, issue number 3, I am going to give an 8 out of 10. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.